Wait, the Division 2 seems pretty good? Hello товарищи, my name is The Machine, and as some of you might have seen, Ubisoft has recently launched an open beta for the Division 2, so I decided to give it a try. I thought to myself, this beta actually seems to be pretty good, but still has a few issues. I also want to remind you that I played through the campaign of the first game in the series and thought it was decent, but a bit uninspired. I also played a small chunk of the alpha and the closed beta of the Division 2, so I'll be comparing the open beta to all of that. So I'll be starting with the things that I liked and then continue with the things that I didn't like. Let's start out with the mission structure. I think that most of the missions that were in the open beta are more interesting than the missions that there were in the Division 1. I think that one of the bigger improvements are the side missions, which feel distinct to the main missions in a way, but are still kind of a smaller version of the main missions because they aren't as big and as hard with the enemies. The world is also better realized because you have friendly factions roaming around now. These factions also fight enemy factions, so instead of enemies only attacking you like they did in the Division 1, you sometimes see them fighting with the friendly factions, and of course you'll help the friendly factions out. They can also help you out with world events called control points, in which you take over an enemy outpost with their help, and after you take over the outpost, they help you defend it, and they are also able to defend it by themselves if you supply them with good resources. I think this is one of the more interesting events that you'll participate in when you're traveling through the open world of Washington. The AI has also improved. Enemies flank you faster, they throw grenades at you, they surround you more easily, and I think it's harder to play by yourself and you need a comrade to help you out. The enemies are also less bullet spongy. Instead of being bullet spongy, they have certain weak points, such as pieces of armor that you need to destroy, and when you destroy these pieces of armor, the enemy is then exposed in that area and you need to shoot that area to kill them. For example, you have an armored guy, and if you shoot his head armor off, you need to shoot him in the head because that's the only area you'll be dealing damage to. But the enemies feel a bit more bullet spongy in the Dark Zone and in the end game. They still aren't as bullet spongy as they were in the Division 1. The addition of specializations and new skills is also pretty good because it enhances role-playing elements of the game. Weapons also feel more distinct now. You can adapt them to the role. For example, marksman rifles are good to use on longer ranges, but the SMGs and the shotguns are usually better for closer ranges. In the first game, I only used the weapons that had really high DPS because they were usually good at all ranges, but this isn't a problem anymore. All of these things encourage tactical gameplay and a certain focus on teamwork that should be the purpose of a multiplayer cooperative game. Massive Entertainment has also made a point to focus more on the end game at launch this time, with also putting an end game mission into the beta. When you enter the end game, you can choose one from 3 specializations which enhance RPG elements. The loot is much more interesting, and there is also a new faction added, which equals more enemy variety, of course. The mission that was in the beta was in the same area as one of the early game missions, but felt completely different because of the enemy variety. I hope we get more missions like this. The PvP and the Dark Zone were also one of the more fun modes to me, but I haven't played that much of them, so I can't critique them seriously. I also haven't played any PvP in the first division, so I can't compare it to that. But yeah, from what I saw, they were fun. The only issue that a few of my teammates were having was that the PvP was a bit laggy at times, and the hit registration wasn't always on point, which Massive needs to fix. I think that the game looks great. I like the change of season and place, which feels more open, but I wouldn't say it's a big upgrade compared to the first division. There are also some texture popping issues. What about the performance? Well, the game ran at around 60 FPS on my rig with medium settings. There were some minor freezes and frame stutters at times, but not that often. I also wasn't able to test the performance more accurately with the performance statistics software because the game crashed after I launched it with the software. It was also hard for me to capture and stream the gameplay, which worked fine for me but lagged on stream and in some footage that I recorded. Some of my teammates also had issues with the framerate. The game was borderline unplayable on my friend's hardware, and the Division 1 ran fine on his system. It also ran out for another teammate who had a GTX 1080. There are also glitches and bugs present in the beta, which are mostly funny and clipping issues, but some of these issues are kind of bad as well. One of these issues is similar to the issues in Anthem, that some sound effects don't even work or the sound gets muted for a while. But I think these bugs are probably easily fixable and didn't really affect my gameplay. I think it's not a big issue, but it's still an issue that needs to be fixed. Some of my friends also had connection issues, specifically the Delta 03 error that pops in when they get disconnected from the game and returned to the character select screen. I also don't like for how much time it takes to load in and out of the game. You can't exit the game directly from your session that you are playing. You need to log out and then exit the game. The story also doesn't look to be very interesting or promising, and in the end, the Division 2 just feels a bit uninspired. It feels kind of too similar to Division 1. Overall, I think that if Massive Entertainment fixes most of these issues before launch, this game has high potential to become a huge success. It looks much better than The Division 1 and the other recent light MMO Anthem. From all of the features in the open beta, I feel safe to say that this will finally be a game that doesn't launch in an incomplete state. But it's still kind of sad to feel happy and hopeful for stuff like that. The beta is still up for around a day, so if you want to try it out for yourself, you can download it on Uplay. You can also join and play with me. I'll put the Discord link below because I'll be playing it some more as well. And that is basically all for this video. If you've got any other thoughts on The Division 2, comment them down below. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, and follow me on twitch.tv/TheMachineX. My name is The Machine, and I'll see you in the next video.